Hello, and welcome to the Complete Project Management Playbook, from fundamentals to execution. We're kicking things off with Module 1, which is all about building a rock-solid foundation. In this first module, we'll dive into the introduction, key definitions, and the critical importance of project management. Think of this as the first chapter in your personal playbook for success, setting the stage for everything that follows. Let's begin. Welcome. We are thrilled to have you here. Whether you're looking to formalize your existing skills or starting fresh, you're in the right place. This course is designed to be your comprehensive guide, equipping you with the essential fundamentals, powerful techniques, and practical skills needed to lead projects with confidence and precision. We won't just be talking about theory. We'll be moving from these core concepts directly into practical, real-world implementation. Your journey to becoming a skilled and confident project leader officially starts right now. In this first module, our purpose is clear: to build a solid foundation for all your future project management knowledge. Everything we learn later in this course will stand on the principles we establish here. To do that, we're going to answer three fundamental questions. First, what exactly is a project? We'll get a crystal clear definition. Second, why is project management so critical for success? We'll explore the value it brings to any organization. And finally, what are the fundamental principles that every single project manager must know to succeed? By the end, you'll have the core building blocks in place. We believe in clear goals, so let's outline what you can expect to achieve. By the end of this module, you will be able to confidently define what a project is and describe its key characteristics. You'll be able to explain the strategic importance of project management and why it's a non-negotiable discipline for modern businesses. You will also be able to identify the distinct phases of the project lifecycle, giving you a roadmap for any project. And finally, you'll understand the single most important balancing act in project management: the triple constraint of scope, time, and cost. These are the skills that will form your foundation. So, let's start with the most basic question: what is a project? The most widely accepted definition comes from the Project Management Institute, or PMI. They define a project as a temporary endeavor undertaken to create a unique product, service, or result. Let's break that down. The two most important words here are temporary and unique. Temporary means it has a clear start and a clear end. Unique means the final result is something new, something that hasn't been created in exactly the same way before. This is what separates a project from routine, day-to-day work. It's a specific, focused effort to create something new. To better understand the anatomy of a project, let's look at its 5 core characteristics. First, every project has a unique purpose. It exists to solve a specific problem or meet a particular need, like launching a new marketing campaign. Second, it's temporary. It has a definite beginning and end. The campaign won't run forever. Third, it involves progressive elaboration. This means it develops in steps. You start with an idea, then create the ad copy, then the visuals, and so on. Fourth, it requires resources. This is the people, the budget, and the tools you need to get the job done. And finally, every project involves uncertainty. You make assumptions, and there are always risks. What if a key team member gets sick, or the client changes their mind? A good project manager anticipates and plans for this. A crucial distinction for every project manager to understand is the difference between projects and operations. Think of it this way: projects are temporary and unique. Their goal is to achieve a specific, one-time objective, and they end when that objective is met. For example, designing and building a new website is a project. Operations, on the other hand, are ongoing and repetitive. Their goal is to sustain the business day in and day out. They don't have a defined end date. Using our website example, the daily maintenance, security checks, and content updates on that website are operations. Projects create change, while operations sustain the business. So, why does all this matter? Why is project management so important? Without it, projects often fail. Effective project management is the steering wheel that gives a project direction and leadership. It ensures there is a clear focus and well-defined objectives, so everyone is pulling in the same direction. It forces us to be realistic about planning, how much time, money, and resources we actually need. It helps us maximize the efficiency of those resources, so nothing goes to waste. And critically, it provides a framework for managing the expectations of stakeholders, the clients, executives, and team members who are invested in the outcome. It brings order to chaos and provides a clear path to success. Now, let's talk about one of the most fundamental concepts you will ever use as a project manager. Every single project, no matter how large or small, is governed by three competing forces or constraints. This is famously known as the Triple Constraint, or the Iron Triangle. The three constraints are scope, time, and cost. We're going to define each of these on the next slide, but for now, I want you to think of this as a constant balancing act. As a project manager, your job is to manage these three elements. You can't affect one without impacting the others. Let's look at the Iron Triangle in more detail. First, we have scope. This is the what. It's all the work, all the tasks, and all the features that will be included to deliver the final product or service. Next is time. This is the when. It's the project's schedule, the timeline from start to finish, including all the deadlines and milestones along the way. And third, we have cost. This is the how much. It represents the project's budget, covering everything from salaries to materials. The central idea, the absolute rule of the triangle, is that these three are interconnected. You cannot change one without affecting at least one of the others. And right in the middle of it all is quality. The quality of your final product is a direct result of how well you balance scope, time, and cost. Let's make this real with a simple example. Imagine your project is to build a new software application. You've agreed on the scope, the timeline, and the budget. Suddenly, the client requests a major new feature. This is an increase in the project's scope. What happens? You can't just add a major feature without a trade-off. To build it, you will almost certainly need more time on the schedule. And, you will likely need more cost, perhaps to pay your developers for overtime or to hire another programmer. The rule is absolute. You cannot change one constraint without a conversation about the other two. This is the daily reality of a project manager. Now that we understand what a project is and the constraints we're working within, let's look at the journey a project takes. All projects, regardless of their size or industry, tend to follow a predictable path from their beginning to their end. This structured path is known as the project lifecycle. Think of it as a roadmap. It provides a clear, structured framework that guides the project manager and the team through a series of logical phases, ensuring that important steps aren't missed and that we have control over the project's development from start to finish. The standard project lifecycle is broken down into 5 distinct phases. We will explore each of these in more detail, but for now, let's get a high-level overview. The journey begins with initiation. This is where the project is born. Next comes planning, where we create the detailed roadmap. The third phase is execution, where the actual work gets done. Happening at the same time as execution is monitoring and controlling, where we track progress and make adjustments. And finally, every project must have a closing phase, where we formally finish the work. This 5-phase model is a powerful and reliable framework for any project you will ever manage. Let's dive into the first phase, initiation. The primary goal here is to define the project at a very high level and, most importantly, to get formal approval to move forward. This is the phase where you answer the big question: is this project truly worth doing? You'll assess the business case, determine the project's objectives, and identify the key stakeholders. The single most important output of the initiation phase is a document called the project charter. Think of the project charter as the project's official birth certificate. It formally authorizes the project to begin and gives the project manager the authority they need to lead it. Once the project is approved, we move into Phase 2, planning. This is arguably the most critical phase of the entire lifecycle. The goal here is to create a detailed, comprehensive roadmap for success. If initiation was about the what and why, planning is all about the how. Activities in this phase are extensive. You will define the project scope in detail, create the schedule, estimate the budget, identify potential risks, and develop communication plans. The key output of all this work is the project management plan. This document is the master blueprint that will guide the team through execution and will be the baseline against which you measure all future progress. Now we get to the heart of the project, phases 3 and 4, which are execution and monitoring and controlling. It's vital to understand that these two phases happen at the same time. Execution is the doing phase. This is where the project team performs the work, builds the deliverables, and puts the plan into action. Simultaneously, monitoring and controlling is the checking phase. As the work is being done, you are constantly tracking progress against the project plan. You're measuring performance, identifying any variances, and making corrective adjustments to keep the project on track. You don't just execute and hope for the best, you execute, monitor, and control in a continuous loop. Finally, we cross the finish line in Phase 5, closing. The goal of this phase is to formally complete and close out the project in a controlled manner. This is a crucial phase that is, unfortunately, often overlooked. Key activities include delivering the final product to the client and getting their formal acceptance, officially releasing the project team so they can move on to other initiatives, and archiving all project documents. Perhaps most importantly, this is where you document the lessons learned, what went well, what went wrong, and what you can do better next time. A proper closing ensures you end professionally and that the organization learns from every single project. We've covered a lot of ground, so let's quickly recap the key takeaways from Module 1. First, we've learned that projects are temporary, unique endeavors that are designed to drive change and create value. Second, project management is not just bureaucracy. It's the essential structure that provides leadership, focus, and a roadmap for success. Third, you now understand the project manager's most important job: to constantly balance the triple constraint of scope, time, and cost. And finally, you have a map for any project journey: the 5-phase life cycle of initiation, planning, execution, monitoring, and closing. This is the foundation upon which all your other skills will be built. And with that, you've done it. Congratulations, aspiring project leader. You've successfully built the essential foundation for your entire project management journey. You now understand the what and the why, the core principles that every successful project is built upon. But our journey isn't over. Now that we have the foundation, it's time to build upon it. In our next module, we will explore the who, the skills that transform a manager into a leader. We'll dive deep into leadership, communication, and problem solving. On behalf of all of us at LearnYa Skills, thank you for your hard work in this module. We're excited to continue this journey with you. For more resources, visit us at www.learnyaskills.com.